Mistake. Uh, we are here at the Money Mob Black Business podcast. I'm here with my co-host, the admin nanny, Miss Glenys Russell. Good evening, Miss Glenys.
Greetings, Paul. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm very well.
All right, fantastic. You look like you got a nice little tan going there. Literally, I mean, you've been up in the sun.
Well, I don't hang about, and when the sun is shining, I need to be in it, basically. So I go out in it, and the sun loves me, and I love the sun back.
Like for real. I mean, you're gonna have at least a good couple of shades.
That's right. And water come. Vitamin D.
Good. Oh, it's good. Any little tidbits that we need to you need to let our viewers know before we actually introduce our main guest?
Well, it's just to say, greetings everyone. I hope everyone's doing very well, and even in this mad situation we find ourselves, that we're all keeping our heads on a level, not getting too excited or too deflated, and to work on your visions and your goals and work towards them, because this is just a time. We're just going through a phase. We're going to come out of it. So depending upon what we're doing now, will dictate what's going to happen afterwards.
Indeed. Well, as I said, I think you're right. I think hopefully, as we get out of this pandemic, we will be able to restore ourselves, and importantly restore our businesses, because that's going to be that's going to be very, very, very important. Probably now more important at any other time, because as I said, we will need to to create not only our own personal economy, and make sure that we actually can can live, because things are going to change drastically, more than we think. And also we need to create a situation that we we have some sort of an economy that we can do for sell. So as I said, I'm really, really hoping and praying that our businesses get through, and as I said, we can really, really kind of come together and have a strategy that was going to lead us to our survival. So yeah. So anyway, I'm not going to really cut any more time. I want to actually introduce our guest here. This young lady DM'd me a good few weeks ago, and I want to introduce you to her. Young lady's name is Tanya Pendergrass, and she has an online health and well-being website called BD. Very, very, very. If once we get through it, Tanya will give us the details in regards to when and how to get on it per se. But anyway, we want to welcome you, Tanya.
Thank you.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you.
All right, fantastic. Well, I think the first things first, right, is how has business been for you at this time?
To be honest, it's kind of gone through a bit of ups and downs. I have on my website, it's about health and well-being. So it is about people going on there and looking at the information. So I have had more people go into the website. Obviously, a lot of people are at home. So a lot of people are online. So they are going out and checking my site and reading the information. There is a shop, like an e-commerce side of the website, so you can also purchase like natural products and things like that for hair and beauty. And I find that sometimes sales do go up to go down. Most people are more checking out the information, which has been good.
All right, fantastic, fantastic. And again, just letting us and letting the viewers know, BD, what is BD, and am I pronouncing it right?
So yes, you call it, it's like BIDI, so yeah, you're calling it correct. But essentially it's a website, it's a platform that discusses about Black health specifically. So it's a that I wanted to do where there was a lot of information out there on health, but it's usually put across from more of like a European perspective, or using statistics, national statistics, which obviously is quite skewed because it's looking at proportions, bearing in mind that it's an overall, obviously, white majority. Things like are cancer rates, etc., what type of cancers are more prevalent in the Black community, sometimes is quite different to the overall majority. So I thought it would be really interesting to focus on certain illnesses or certain conditions which are more prevalent in the Black community, and just to discuss them and to kind of break it down. And so I found it good because I was unaware about a lot of things, and I wasn't too sure about a lot issues regarding Black health. And the more I read about certain things, the more I thought, okay, it would be great if it was out there somewhere. And that's why I put the website. So it's more informative, and it's just encouraging natural health styles, natural hair care, natural eating, that kind of thing.
Okay, fine. So the name BIDI is a Kiswahili name, and it means effort, struggle, and devotion.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean,
yes.
So what is the, all right, so I think you may have, you've already probably touched on it already, but what is the kind of philosophy behind BD?
Together that discusses about Black health in general, that people can go to and just rely on for good information. So I just did it out of personal interest, but I think it is also actually quite helpful to the overall community.
Okay, fantastic.
So, Tanya, can I ask how long BIDI has been around?
So BIDI's been around for some time. I started it in 2008, and it was like just an on and off kind of project. So again, it was done mostly out of personal interest. And then I've been doing quite a few projects recently, and again, BIDI is one of the things that I was focusing on. Currently myself, I do work full-time. I work in IT, and fortunately, I've been put on furlough. So I did think that was it turned out to be quite a bit of a blessing. So that's given me a lot of time to then say, okay, then this is the perfect time and ample time. It's given me a good couple months to say what are the next steps that I want to take BIDI in, and just to really focus on it. So it's been something where now's the perfect time to really put more effort into it.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, so looking on the site, right? I mean, obviously you deal with diet. It has a very much feel like, I mean, you're a raw food advocate.
To be honest, I'm not necessarily a raw food advocate. I don't necessarily eat only raw food myself, but I am vegan.
Okay.
And one of the things, like I said before, is that I find that older generations who, again, probably aren't necessarily born in England, their diets usually do consist of a lot more natural fruits, vegetables, that kind of thing. I noticed that, like I said, sometimes when people are, or like people say my generation, or maybe a little bit older, when they're born here, you know, their dietary habits aren't necessarily like as traditional as it was back home. And I know that sometimes a lot of our traditional diets aren't so necessarily heavy in meats, and it is more herb-based, plant-based. And then again, from just doing my own research years ago, I turned vegan in 2007. And just from doing my own research at the time about the negative effects of meat and things like this, it made me really think, okay, going vegan is the best option. And so I see also the benefits of eating raw. I definitely see the benefits of that personally. I think it's something that I can really just stick to as a whole lifestyle. But I do think it's good to advocate that sometimes people should focus on maybe increasing their raw intake. So it is something that I try to advocate, but I don't say you have to do it 100% of the time.
Okay.
Can I ask, what are the benefits of raw?
So some of the benefits of eating raw is that the vegetables themselves, it's like in their natural state, the less processed they are, the more you do get the natural nutrients from them. So things like even boiling, frying, for example, sometimes can harm or deplete the actual fruits of their natural nutrients and vitamins. So where possible, sometimes eating raw is generally a really good thing. Things like, for example, plantain is a great kind of vegetable that a lot of people eat. And me personally, I love to fry it, but sometimes that's not the best thing. But I did do a workshop with a raw food. It's called Dirian, Brother Dirian, and from doing a workshop with him years ago, I think back in 2006, showed great ways where you can eat plantain completely raw in salads, and it was beautiful. And it makes you realize that, you know, sometimes we're killing the food when we do fry it, when we do boil it. You appreciate, and it even tastes better. It tastes like just so much fresher when you have it raw. So not asking everybody to be raw 110% of the time, but you do feel the benefits from juicing, etc.
Okay. So, I mean, also on the site, I know that you also talk about herbs and you know, herbs in particularly, and would you be able to give our, you know, viewers? I mean, all right, number one, is it something that again is a parcel of your lifestyle? And if it is, are there a certain herb that you've been using during this particular time?
Well, yes, I mean, definitely. There's certain fruits, vegetables, herbs that I've been consuming probably more so in this time. Like turmeric, whether it be things like ginger, I've been having a lot more of those. Things which are good kind of cleansers. Cayenne pepper is a fantastic herb. You can put it in all of the dishes that you prepare, even when you juice it, or when you do juicing, you can add a little pinch of cayenne pepper in there, which is very good for kind of like killing off bacteria, clearing out your system, trying to help you get out mucus. Things like sea moss, again, is a fantastic thing, which has, I think, 92 of the natural minerals that we need to kind of like live off. And again, that's a great way to just put some sea moss and add that to any smoothies. And again, that's very good in terms of removing mucus from the chest, from your system. So there's literally almost every single vegetable, every single plant, every single herb will have definite positive effects on your body. So that's one of the things that I really, again, the website is trying to stress that, you know, you're better off looking after yourself internally through your food than anything else.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. One of the things that you also dealt with is one of the things that's also on the site. You deal with beauty, and definitely one of the main and I think one of the mainstays on the site is black hair, and you I think I was reading the article. You talk about this. I think there's like 10 myths that go with that is that we tend to have kind of adopted in regards to black hair. I mean, as someone who is a natural hair kind of advocate, again, I mean, do you feel that, and I know it's something that is a part of your thing. I mean, do you feel that the idea of maybe, us maybe dabbling and, in other things, trying to, have a little bit of processing, a bit of wigs, have you, do you think that's really, that bad?
You know what, I think for some people will say that it's not political. I understand. Some people will say it's really not that serious about what you do with your hair, things like that. And I understand where people are coming from. I've got lots of friends who have relaxed hair. I know people who, do you know what I mean, dye their hair or do anything they want to their hair. But I think for me, from my perspective, the more that I research it and the more that I see it, the more that I just can't go down that road of having processed hair or relaxed hair. Kind of like the more that you know, the more you just can't dabble in it at all. And so sometimes I think I kind of understand why people want to do it, because again, mass media is a huge driving force behind all of our activities and all of our actions. And whether we like to admit it or not, it influences us so much. So I understand if all you're seeing is YouTube videos of people like Kim Kardashian, or the most beautiful women are usually white, European, or even if the most beautiful black woman is promoted as Beyonce, then a lot of the times people are going to think that, straight hair is associated to that. And sometimes I really want to be able to say that, and it's not just obviously me that's saying it. I know there's plenty of other people on the whole natural hair movement that have been saying it for a very long time. But again, it's just like natural beauty is something which really I generally think is the main thing to go for, because essentially what you're saying is that you have to kind of love yourself 100% with what you have, and trying to adorn it with, whether it be wigs and all that kind of stuff. I just wouldn't be able to do it. And I think the more that I kind of meditate on it, the more I can't go down that road. But then again, I understand, I think the mass media is a huge driving force, which we can't comprehend how much it really does affect everything that we do, everything that we say. It's a huge kind of machine that is just never ending. And I think, and because of that, I think you always need something or someone that's kind of counteracting that in every opportunity to say, no, natural hair is far better. So one of the great things about things like Instagram and YouTube is there is, a huge amount of sisters out there doing natural hair, which I think is fantastic. But then again, saying that, there's a huge amount of sisters out on there which is all about relaxed hair and wigs as well. So it's got its pros and its cons, but I think just hyping up how beautiful natural hair is, I think, can never be done enough, bearing in mind what else is being bombarded to us every day.
All right. Okay, cool. One of the things I wanted to ask you as well, I mean, as someone who's now embarking on, on a health and well-being site, you have a shop, what have you, building business. Is there any tips for people that you would say who may be looking to maybe endeavor to do, something very, very, very similar as you were doing?
I think not to give up is one of the things. I think embarking on any business is about, you have to just push and endeavor for anything to succeed. You're going to have plenty of times where things are just low, things aren't happening, things are inactive. But it's all about trying to, again, understand your market, understand what you're pushing. Generally, you have to believe in it. So that's one of the key things, I think. It's like, if you don't believe in it, it's going to be 10 times harder to pursue it when times are going really kind of tough for you. I also think it's a case of being able to understand, like, what market are you trying to kind of push, and to try to understand what are you actually offering. Is it actually worthwhile? If it isn't worthwhile, then you have to generally think to yourself, is this journey kind of like worth doing? But if it is worthwhile, again, I think that's a good inspiration to make you say, you know what, I've got kind of like no choice but to carry on. But it's one of those things where you can't be afraid of hard work. it's like it's non-negotiable. You have to be prepared to put in a lot of effort and a lot of your own time and sacrifice, whether it be finances, etc., to make it a reality.
Okay, that sounds that sounds fantastic to me, and I think that's a key kind of tips. Absolutely. So again, just to, we're now kind of getting on to that kind of wrapping up stage. What in a sentence, what makes your brand Biddy? What makes it unique?
You know what? I think it's a difficult question, and it's not difficult. It's difficult because there's so many natural things happening out there, which is, again, like I said, is fantastic to see. I think the only thing which makes Biddy different is because the site is equally about information as it is about selling products. I think that's one of the key things that Biddy is trying to push and promote. I think, like I said, I think equally I want people to take away information from the site, even if they do or don't purchase anything. So I think the key thing for me is about having people know, if they want to see a particular topic, I want to be able to kind of like address it and put things on there. So some of the things that I'm looking into as my next topics that I really want to do some information on is, like mental health for Black men. I want to focus on things like lupus. I want to think about a lot of things which obviously are issues within the Black community, and just trying to provide information about it. Also things which are like just advocating and understanding that for us to really be better as a community and to function better, I think your health underpins it like completely. So that means our mental health and our physical health. So I think that's one of the key things that I think separates Biddy, is that I'm really trying to help and make people aware about that, future successes can't happen unless you yourself are well. Do you know what I mean? And as you can see from our community, sometimes there's aspects where we're just definitely not well. And I think with Biddy, I want to try to ensure that people understand what we manifest as a community only happens because we're not actually well as an individuals themselves. So I think with Biddy, I think what makes it unique is I want to try and make that platform. And I don't think there's other platforms that really necessarily do that. But again, it's similar to a lot of companies because yes, it is about, promoting Black beauty, promoting natural hair and selling products. So there's some similarities and uniqueness as well.
All right. Fantastic. Okay. So I just wanted to, because we're now getting to that kind of time. What are the one of the things that you sell in your shop? What are those? What are your products?
So the products themselves, they are natural hair products. I did recently, or the most recent addition to it was the Pure Goodness range. There's a sister who has who sells it mostly in Brixton, and she has a natural range of products. It could be whether it be shea butter for your skin or shea butter for your hair, natural oils, etc. So those are on my website. Some Sheer Moisture products for the hair are also on the website. African Black Soap by Sheer Moisture is also on the website. Some Cantu products is also there, and I'm always trying to kind of like add more products which I think are generally good for people who are going natural. So I want to also start doing more products which are going to help in terms of encouraging sisters to transition, so from lax to natural hair. And then also on there I have like say one sister who I purchased head wraps from, which use like really nice beautiful kind of like African print, or just or like some ordinary prints as well, and just encouraging sisters to wear their hair natural, whether it be in locks or whether it be as a fro, and just being able just to celebrate how they wear their hair. So so that's pretty much the basis of the products that I have on there. And I want to put on there, maybe more things for men as well, like, the natural beard oils and that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, what's for the brothers? All right. All right, good. All right, so So please let our viewers know, I mean, where can we kind of contact you, Tanya?
So the best is to contact either via email, which you can get me at info@, and it'll be BIDI, which is B for Bravo, I for India, Delta, I for India, I for India.co.uk. Or you can, Instagram is usually one of the best ways, which is at UK BIDI, and people can contact me on there at any time.
All right, fantastic, fantastic. And the last question, which is the Money Mob question, we always give our first time interviewees, is this. Tanya, if you were given one wish in regards to the Black community, what would that one wish be?
One wish for the Black community. I was thinking of this actually, it was quite difficult. I think one wish it's difficult to put it down to one.
I understand.
So I think it would be to foster a lifestyle which had, you know, health and vitality, I think would be it.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Okay. All right. I think that kind of almost wraps it up. Tanya, it has really been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Let's don't be a stranger. Definitely keep in touch, and hopefully we will be able to, hopefully see you face to face soon.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah. All right, so you take care, and as I said,
thank you.
We will see you soon. Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
No problem, no
Bye
problem.
for now.
Bye-bye. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right. Cool. Okay, so it's Glenys. We've got we've got roughly about 5 minutes left, and I think it was a very, very good interview. Very, very kind of informative. And if you do get a chance, please check out her website. Again, it's www.bidi. That's BIDI.co.uk. And as I said, check her on Facebook or on Instagram, and that is UK BIDI, BIDII. Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. So
And it's fantastic. I mean, well, as we've always heard, our health is our wealth.
Indeed.
So we never more prominent than right now.
Exactly.
So it's important that we look at ourselves holistically, get back to basics, go as natural as you possibly can.
Absolutely.
Tanya was talking about hair. It's, for Black women, that's a big thing for us.
Absolutely.
And I would say to anyone, whatever you're doing with your hair, be as natural as you possibly can. And that includes what you're putting on your hair, in your body, on your body.
Indeed.
Possibly can.
Absolutely.
So if it is, adornment or an apparel, find a natural one. That's all I say.
Indeed. And I would say the same thing about men. You see, a lot of us, find ourselves at a certain age where